Hey Alex, how are ya?
Hey, good morning, Justin. I'm doing all right. How about you?
I'm good, man. I'm good.
Awesome.
So yeah, thanks for taking a little bit of time. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no, I'm happy to. I talked to a number of guys that are interested over the last few years, so happy to do it. Do you know much about it, for starters?
I mean, just a very little bit. I don't know too much about it, and it's just like I said, it's kind of been coming up more and more about more and more recently. I actually know a handful of guys. I've been connected with a handful of guys that are in the Detroit chapters over in Michigan, and they've really highly recommended it. And then I know what you had said about it. I had a buddy out in Maryland say something about it, and so I'm just like, okay, maybe this is a sign that we need to push forward here and get a little bit more engaged and figure out more about it and whatnot.
Who do you know in Detroit? Because I know a lot of those guys well.
Ian was one. Yeah, so I just got introduced to him through Steven. I don't know if you know Steven at all. Which I don't think Steven's in it, but he's been connecting me to a lot of guys, and his business is from that area, and so meeting up with, I don't know, there's going to be 3 or 4 guys, I think, from that Detroit chapter over there. So
Yeah, got it. Well, I have mixed feelings on it. I mean, I've had a good experience, but I'll say there's pros and cons. So it really just depends on what your motivations are. So it's a massive commitment. That's probably the hardest thing for me. For me, who's like, I had an exit, but I'm building, chapter 2, and balls to the wall. It's a challenge given the time commitment. So we meet once a month, and it's basically all day. It's in the city. It starts at noon. It ends at about 5:30. But if you count travel time, you're pretty much burning up the whole day. So that's part of it. The other part is that the Chicago groups are very social. So they do some sort of social event once a month as well. So it's like twice a month. It's going to be either a half day, a full day, a full night. There's definitely some pressure to participate and attend. So, it's not a good look if you're not active and not showing up.
right, that makes sense.
So that's one of the biggest challenges for me. I guess the good is I've made some really good friendships. I've gotten involved in some philanthropy work that I think, is good for me just because I had my head down for so many years and I, randomly donate to this or that. But, I've just been more thoughtful. I've been introduced, I've been a real estate construction guy for so long that that's mostly what I've invested in. And it certainly opened my eyes to other opportunities and other asset classes and other private deals to invest in, which has been, good for me. So I guess, that's pros and cons, right?
All right, so the first one is signature. That's what we're looking at.
Yes, that's what we're looking at right now. Where I place the new debt amount based on the information that Rex Zimmerman sent to us.
Yep.
And then what is the loan mortgage? I also included any loan fees or any items that
That was on the closing statement.
Exactly. Then I put exact the amount that we will be sending to Scar Nancy, any other entities related, anything that is owed to Spaulding Group, and anything that is owed to Privators too.
So the 1377 number is coming from. Just
From
go
the
back.
projections.
Okay, go back to there quick. I just want to see the. Got it. Okay.
There are 2 things that I want to point out. The first one is how much money we want to leave in reserves, and we can make this adjustment however we see fit. Before I talk about this document, I'm going to talk about the co-tenancy agreement.
That's right, because this is 1031, right?
Yes,
We
yes.
1031 in, and then.
Exactly.
Okay.
So the first section that I want to mention is this section. As you can see, these partners or these co-tenants amount to 75%.
Yep.
Then this one, which is not a sponsor but it functions similar to a sponsorship, has a 25% interest ownership.
Mm-hmm.
The first section talks about how everything is going to be distributed. Any loan disbursements, it mentions that all income and expenses related to the ownership and operation of the property, unless otherwise agreed in writing, shall be allocated in accordance to percentage of interest. Each co-tenant is responsible for its own income, capital gains, and state tax consequences. All the distributions of cash flow, which is what pertains in this section to us. So it talks about how shall be distributed first, 25% to SU Realty and 3% to Cotton Mills. But I do want to point out that these are distributions of cash flow, and this one right here talks about the proceeds. So mentions how it should be following in separate orders. The first order is, payment the remaining of the mortgage, which is what we did at the beginning. Then return of capital to co-tenants, and then 25 to and 75 to the co-tenants. So, and this is where it gets a little bit tricky, and I'll explain to you.
No, I already understand. I know where you're going to go, but I'll let you keep going.
So what I did here is the following. I put the purchase date, today's date, the total of months, which is interesting, is 4 years exactly, 48 months, and then I put the remaining cash.
All right, first private flight for me and my dad and Jamie. My mom is the only one that's flown private. So right there we go. We're going, I don't ever want to fly commercial again now. It's going to spoil me. Roll up 5 minutes before we're supposed to leave, run a little bit late, and it doesn't matter. There's not going to be a TSA line. No one's going to check my bag. The lady in front of the plane that's wearing a mask isn't going to give me the stink eye anymore. I'm just excited. I'm a little bit excited. We're going to the Ohio State Badger game tonight, and the reason we decided to take a private plane was we had a friend that hooked us up some pretty cool tickets. My wife bought Dane Dental. When she bought Dane Dental, basically it's McFarland's homecoming weekend, I believe, but there's a parade and a fair and all this stuff going on, and so we had a booth there for Dane Dental. That was this morning, about an hour and a half ago. We got done there, and then we're going to go to the game, and then tomorrow is the parade. We had to be back for that in time, so we're going to the game. We're going to be back tonight by like midnight. I'm super excited. First private flight. Been waiting for this forever. Been writing it down forever. My goal that I keep writing down once or twice a day in the last 10 years is fly private all the time. Fly private all the time. I hate rolling up to an airport, flight delayed, flight canceled. Don't have to worry about that here. So we're excited. Leaving out of Janesville, headed to Columbus, Ohio. Check out the game. Gonna get right back on the plane from the stadium and be back like between 11 and midnight. It's only an hour flight. Here we go.